Okay, so hello all, welcome to this first round of the Campionato Italiano Giovanile di Debate. Today, the teams that will conduct these debates are from Side Proposition, from Piemonte, Cavour Debate Society, while for opposition from Toscana, Da Vinci Debaters. Okay, I ask to the proposition team to introduce.
I am Anna De Marco, and I'm the first speaker of the pro team.
I am Alessia Madetamas, and I'm the second speaker of proposition team.
I am Adriano Ventura, and I am the third speaker of proposition team.
Okay, thank you. Now it's time for opposition.
I'm Nicola Ribolla. I'm the first speaker of opposition team.
Hi, I'm Noemi Biagi, and I'm the second speaker of opposition team.
I am Milano Federici, and I will be the third speaker of opposition team.
Okay, I'm Benedetta Leone. I will be the chair judge for this debate. Now I ask my colleagues to introduce themselves.
My name is Carlos Satti, and I'm one of the judges of this debate.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Marta Correggia, and I will be one of your panelists today. Best of luck.
Okay.
Can I please ask the proposition team and the opposition team just to tell us who will do the reply speech?
Yes. So for
opposition team?
Proposition team will be Anna De Marco,
okay.
While for opposition team will be Nicola Ribolla.
Good, thank you.
Okay, so today's motion is this House, as a feminist, welcomes the decline of motherhood. I think that we are all ready, so we can start the debate and we can give the floor to first speaker of proposition team.
Okay, so my speech will start in 3, 2, 1. Here we go. Welcome, dear judges, fellow debaters, to today's debate. Today we are debating the motion "This House, as a feminist, welcomes the decline of motherhood." So I'm Anna De Marco, the first speaker of the proposition team, and I will do a brief presentation of the motion. I will present the first two arguments of our line. Then I will leave the stage to Alessia and Adriano, which will do a recap and the third argument of our line. So I will start by defining our motion. So the motion analyzes the actual statement of our world. In fact, we accept as feminists, so person who look forward to gender equality, rights of women, and we want women to be considered as equal to men and have the same possibility to express themselves. We accept the fact that in rich states, motherhood is declining, and we see this decline, so this decrease, as a factor which will lead us to positive effects in our future. And to finish the definitions, we define motherhood as a state of women as mothers, considered as mothers. Today, in general, women, mothers, struggle to find job opportunities due to the fact they are labeled as being mothers and, to take care of their familiar nucleus. And also because parts of the society sees them only with this label. As I said before, I will present the first two arguments. So the first is social and economic disadvantages. In fact, women have fewer job opportunities than men. In fact, I have also personal examples for this. In job interviews, it's common that to women, job interviewers ask women if their intention is to have children in the future. This is like a prejudicial selection of that job interviewers do before hiring a female worker. And this factor leads to less leadership position for women and also less actual income of what they earn. Then we have also domestic burdens. Women work, but also, as I said before, take care of their children in their family's nucleus. They are not superheroes. They're human beings. And they sometimes are overwhelmed by what they have to do. And they are not satisfied because they don't cover the correct job positions they work for. And in some families, there are only women who take care who look after their children. Of course, we're not talking about all the families in the world, but in some. So it's a problem that has to be solved immediately. And they, last but not least, they are less autonomous because, as we all know, maybe they are forced to be with the same partner because maybe they will have children with him, and they have not maybe the courage or the economic possibility to stay back and say, no, I'm going to have my children on my own. So they are, there is also being a mother and also a worker leads to less also economical, but also mental, leads to economical and mental dependency. Then we have also the second argument of our line. The decline of motherhood will change what parts of the society sees women, because we fight against the obligation of being a mother. Because in our society, women are claimed to be mother, and over a certain age, if they have no children, they are seen like, when are you going to build a family up? Well, they have not to be judged only because they don't want children. And so, with the decline of motherhood, we will eradicate the primitive perception that a woman has to be a mother. Because maybe some of women don't want to be mothers, or maybe they haven't think about this possible scenario. And also, with this, women would have less social and moral pressure from the society. So this can also incentive women to have children, not because someone forces them, but because they wanted. Okay, in my last minutes, I will do a brief recap of what I've said. So, we are discussing the statement of our world. So we don't want the absolute abolition of motherhood. This is a factor which will lead to positive effects. Then I've analyzed why this is negative for our society for social and economic reasons. After this abolition will lead also to positive effects, as I said before. So the change of women perception. Mothers shouldn't be judged. Women shouldn't be judged for what is their idea about children. With this, I conclude my speech. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, Anna. The speech was of 8 minutes. Okay, I think we can, since I don't see the other two judges, if they are not ready, you can open the microphone and stop me. But I think that we are all ready. So we can go on with the first speech from opposition.
A world in which women are forced to choose between A and B, and in which they were judged despite what they choose, is a world that we can't stand for and that we oppose. But before I start my speech, I would like to start answering what has been said during the first proposition speech. Now, let's try and understand that what the problem that so let's start to analyze the problems that we can understand from the first speech of proposition. Now, it's true, we agree on the fact that women have less opportunities in the field of jobs, for example, and but this, we don't see it as being a woman is obstaculating women to do this. Many women in today's society are leadership, broke the glass ceiling, and are extremely important. We'll talk about that later in my first argument, but I could tell you that perhaps names, very famous names like Samantha Cristoforetti, can make you ring a bell in your head. But also, women also in the second speech, in the second argument, they said that women will be incentivized in giving birth to children because they won't feel the pressure of being judged. This is not true, and we'll see it in my argument. Why? Because in their society, in the society in which feminism welcomes the decline of motherhood, two different images of women will take place. The image of a successful woman working in the field, earning money, and the figure of a mother who's going to be discriminated not only by the men, but also by all those feminists that welcome the decline of motherhood. So let's go and see a few steps of setup of our framing. So in today's society, the women are judged and discriminated for everything, i.e. for example, they are judged, they are paid less in work, in every field of life, okay? But feminist represents a really important group, a really important movement for women and for everybody, because it's fighting for the right of women and for the right especially to choose what panel, to choose to take decision for themselves, what to wear, who to marry, and what career to undertake. The first argument that we'll bring you here this evening is that by welcoming the decline of motherhood, the feminism movement will fail to reconciliate motherhood and the career, which is one of the most important battles that they brought on and fought for the past decades. And also, it will give of the feminism a image of a extremism movement. So, why would the welcoming decline of motherhood put an end to one of the most important battles in feminism? Because feminism was born with a clear intention of giving the woman the right of choice. And in the world that proposition has depicted, okay, that we can understand from what proposition has said, women can be all successful when they're all mothers. And the two things can't coexist. Why? Because if you're a mother, you won't have a job or a good job, and you will be always overwhelmed by the pressure you have when you return home and you have to take care of your children. But that's a lie. Why would I, as a feminist, annihilate the freedom of other women by choosing to propose the motion of today? Because, as I said in the rebuttal, there would be two images: the images of the strong leading woman that can go and work and can come back with a salary, and a woman and a mother that can stay home, taking care of their children, and it would be discriminated for both the parts, both from the men and both from the females that follows this ideology that proposition is proposing today. Why so? Because apparently the two things can't coexist. And okay. But we told you that things like these images, these women that are not superheroes, not superwomen, do exist in the status quo, with Rita Levi Montalcini and Samantha Cristoforetti, which are two extremely important figures in today's society, two figures that every girl is aspiring to be one day. And so at the very end of my speech, what can we say? We can say that in our world, women would be, the feminism movement would be still fighting from one of the most important battles of their ideology, so to reconciliate motherhood and career, and women would be able to set up a family without being not judged, but yes, judged from other women themselves. Sorry, thank you very much.
Thank you, Nicola. The time was of 7 minutes and 44 seconds. Are you hearing the clap of my hands or the sound of the timer?
Both. We are both.
Okay, perfect. So I encourage you to ask questions to the other team. Okay, I think we are ready for the third. Yes.
Should we raise our hand on the thing to ask a PI, or should we open the mic and
Yeah,
say?
you should open the microphone.
Yeah. Okay, sure.
Okay. I think we are ready for the third speech.
My speech will start in 3, 2, 1. Hello, dear judges. Hello, dear debaters. I'm the second speaker of proposition. And I would like to start by rebutting what the opposition team said. So, first of all, they agree with our line and they say that mothers should work in this world and should be equal to men. But they're not doing anything to achieve this goal. We all know that nowadays there are a lot of differences in job society, but in the society in general too. And you said that feminism wants to help mothers and women's, but in this case, feminism wants to decline motherhood. But now I'm gonna recap the team line. So first of all, the first speaker of proposition gave a precise definition of the motion, and she talked about the status quo. So how today the things work related to this motion. And we noticed that the stakeholders are women and feminists. So she talked about social and economic disadvantages and that less mothers will bring to less expectations for a woman to be a mother, because we all know that nowadays in our tradition we consider women as mandatory a mother, so their only aim in their life is to make kids, is to be a mother. But I would like to start with the third argument. So we accept this motion because we know that this will lead to less social and economic disadvantages for women, and so this will lead to more mothers in the future. This is because the decline of motherhood will be perceived as a revolt against the government, and the government will act to make things things better for women and for mothers too. So let's think about a mother or a woman that nowadays have maybe goes to a job interview, and the first question they ask to these women is, do you want to have kids? Do you want to have a family in the future? So this is not good, and we are trying to give a solution to this. The fact that we decline motherhood is to make the government do something for solve this situation. So the government will be forced to do something to help mothers or women in general, because they will be worried about the decline in birth rate. So if women will not think about making kids, about creating a family, and they won't procreate, they will just make a revolt against the government, and the government will be worried. So they will be forced to do something to help mothers and women. So first of all, they will not expect a woman to prefer career over family, and that happens a lot nowadays. And in a job interview, they won't ask a woman if she wants to be a mother in the future, and not having intention. And not having the intention to be a mother won't be a requirement. So, but there will be more advantages. Also, talking about the economic aspect, the government will help mothers with lowering the prices of things that they need for their babies. So they will help mothers and women in general, because they will be worried about this. They will be worried about the decline in birth rate, and they will do obviously something to help mothers and women's. And mothers and women's will start again making kids in the future, but they will start to do this only when the government will do something to help them. And we want to balance the responsibility of being a mother or a father. We all know that nowadays the mothers care a lot about their kids, but why do we think about a woman being a mother but not a man being a father? Why in a job interview we ask women if they want to be a mother but not a man if they want to be a father, or if they want to have kids in the future? So this is our third argument. The fact that we declined motherhood will force the government to help mothers, and they will help mothers in different ways. The prices will be low, so basically the mothers will have the opportunity, even if they struggle with the economic aspect, to maybe buy things that their babies need, or maybe food for their babies and particular things that babies need. And they will not expect women to prefer a career over family. So women will have the same possibilities as men to create a family, but at the same time to have a job and to have the same career opportunities as men. And people will not focus on mothers, on women as mothers. They will not expect a woman to be a mother, to be mandatory a mother, because we all know that nowadays in our society, we think that the principal aim, the principal purpose of a woman is to be a mother. In conclusion, in the future, if we accept this motion, there will be more mothers and birth rate will grow, and all the world will be happier, and there will be more advantages for women, and women will be equal to men. So to recap what the proposition team said, we talked about social and economic disadvantages. We talked about the fact that with less mothers, there will be less expectation for a woman to be a mother. And we talked about the fact that accepting this motion will lead to less social and economic disadvantages, and so to more mothers in the future, and so our birth rate will grow. Thank you very much for listening to me. This was the second speech.
Thank you, Alessia. The time of this speech was 7 minutes and 56 seconds. Okay, now it's time for second speech of opposition team.
Hello, dear judges. Hello, debaters. This will be the second speech of opposition. I will start in 3, 2, 1. Okay, so we're talking about the position of women, and we're making a difference between a mother and a woman. They're the same thing. For example, in the first speech, you said mother, and you corrected yourself, and you said women don't have to be judged. Mothers don't have to be judged as well. By saying that you welcome the decline of motherhood, you're implicitly saying that being a mother is less valid than being a strong and independent women. About that, you said that in the interview, the person you will be is are you a mother? That's true, but that's also one of the primary battles of feminism. By making by welcoming the decline, you're creating new prejudice, and we'll have to fight for a better world. Sorry, can I continue? Sorry.
Of course.
We'll have to fight for a better work environment, not for the decline of the motherhood. You use that as an act of protest, but don't you think that will also create new imposition in society? And that will bring to our second argument. So the feminism was born to free a woman of imposition, not to create new ones. And the decline of maternity, to the decline of the motherhood, by welcoming it, you're implicitly making it a less valid choice. By doing this, we're talking about an extremist feminism that just valorize the model of the independent woman, the strong woman, the career woman, and not the mother. This concept, if you think about it, is bonded with the patriarchal society, because in ancient times, they thought the man earns money, the man has to control the family. But why are we saying that? If we're making mothers less valid, we're also making the statement true. Because you're saying a person that earns money, that has a career, is better than ones that choose to have children, which for women can be a profound experience.
PI.
That we can also say that women can today conciliate the strong woman, the career woman, to the mother one, but we'll have to fight for it. And by welcoming the decline of motherhood, you're stopping this fight. You're not accomplishing it. You make a failure for society because you fail to help these women. I can't have a child of mine because I will be judged. You say, oh, but if you do that, the government will help us. No, the government has to, and I can have my own children. Yeah, what were your questions?
Which question? Because we made 3 POIs.
Okay.
Okay, so I'll give mine. How is freeing a woman from the obligation of being a mother an obligation itself if we're still giving them the possibility of being one? Thanks.
Yes, but that's not an obligation itself. You're not obligating a woman to be a mother, you're letting them choose. By welcoming the decline of the motherhood, you're implicitly saying that the choice is less valid because you will create, prejudice. What were the other questions?
So how are you fighting this situation if you don't do anything?
You will continue to fight as we're doing now. The feminism is fighting for to conciliate work and the maternity, as Tina Anselmi did. She was the first woman minister, and she is one of the strongest feminists we have in Italy's history. And she worked for protection of women maternity. And she was a strong feminist. So we can't say that welcoming the decline of motherhood is freeing women from the obligation. It's just creating new ones, because your simplicity saying, and you will create another. Okay, so that's the end of my argument, and I would like to do a brief recap. Nicola said that in the work world, women are not will have to fight for it, and that's what I said too, because that's one of the most important battles we have in feminism, and by doing this we are minimizing it and also thank you. That was the second speech.
Thanks to you, Noemi. Your speech was of 7 minutes and 35 seconds. Okay. I think that we can continue with the last constructive speech for proposition team.
Okay, my speak will start in 3, 2, 1. Okay, so I'm Adriano Ventura. I'm the third speaker of proposition team and I will start by debunking some of the arguments, all of the arguments opposition team brought up. And then I will proceed by answering to some of the criticisms they gave us. And then I'll do a brief summary of our arguments, and yeah, that's it. So let's start by the arguments they brought up. The first relevant argument was that basically us feminists fail to reconcile motherhood and employment, basically. And the first speaker said that we don't really accept that they can coexist. Well, fortunately, or maybe unfortunately, We are not the ones saying that. We wish it was easy for a woman to be a mother and have her job and work normally, but unfortunately, it's not the case in our current society. Um, it's factually true that women are highly disadvantaged um, from the fact alone of being a mother or wanting to be a mother in the future. They gave us a couple examples, counter examples of that, and they cited an astronaut, recent one, and Rita Levi Montalcini. Okay, so these two examples, I think, sum up the problem with opposition team. They are giving us two very famous examples, and they are basically the first two women that come to a feminist mind, I guess. But there is a huge problem with these. As I said, one of these is an astronaut. Astronauts are not common. This is not an example that represents a majority in our country and the modern world. Also, um, I'd like to make you understand that the one which isn't an astronaut, Rita Levi Montalcini, never had kids. We are not saying that being a woman stops you from having a job. We're saying that kids, unfortunately, stop you from being having the job you want or having a job and living a peaceful and happy life in many, many cases. This is the problem with opposition team. They are superficial, um, and they think that we are pro status quo, while really we are not. We are using the crisis we are facing demographically to our advantage, and we think that this will lead to positive outcomes. Also, the second argument brought up by the argument brought up by the second speaker of opposition team. Basically, they said that we are pushing for a new prejudice, right? We said as our second argument that unfortunately right now, women in many cases are not seen well if they don't plan to have kids or if they don't have kids after a certain age. According to them, we are establishing a new prejudice by saying that if you have kids, you're not necessarily not a feminist. That is not the case. We are not pushing for extinctionism. Actually, we think that status quo is already helping our cause, and we're not pushing for women to not have kids. We're saying that the status quo already pushes them not to have them, and this will lead to positive outcomes. Um, also, they said that we say that women shouldn't be judged, but we think that mothers should be judged. Mothers are women, and we are aiming for a better future for women, including mothers. Um, they also accused us of being too extremists. Around 100, actually less, about 80 years ago, for the first time in our country, women voted. Um, that was considered very extreme uh, until, I don't know, 3 years later. But at the same time, we do not think that this is an extreme position. We are not pushing for a revolution of our way of thinking. We are pushing for reforms inside the government to help women have kids. We are pushing for women to have kids. We are certainly not discriminating against people who don't. Um, Also, um, I'd like to clarify that I highly interpreted what they meant by saying that we are extremists, because unfortunately they didn't elaborate that much about it. Also, and yeah, I think this they overall the problem was that they failed to understand our third argument, which is really the solution to the status quo that is already contained within the status quo. Maybe in hope that panel, including our opposition, will understand it better, I will do a recap of our arguments once again. So the first argument was a critique of the status quo. Being a mother in today's world leads to negative outcomes socially and economically, unfortunately. We do not believe that is a good thing, and that will change thanks to reforms. Um, the second argument we brought up was that having less mothers will lead to decreasing that is already happening of the expectative for women to be mothers in our society. We think that is a good thing, because that way you can choose freely to be a mother and be happy by doing so. And our third argument is actually the reason why we think that status quo, so the decreasing of motherhood, is good, and which is that contains the solution to the harshness of being a mother by pushing for reforms legislatively and socially. With that, I conclude my speech. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Adriano. The speech was 8 minutes. And now we can hear third speaker of proposition.
Yes, I will start my speech in 3, 2, 1. So let's analyze what we said during this debate. I would start talking from the last thing that the third propositions speaker said. As he said, women are not seen well if they don't have kids. And with their third argument, they said that in the future, by improving an economical increase in women's income, they will women will in the future have children and be mothers in an easier way. Let's say. But so first of all, they are saying that they are already mothers because they are only planning to be mothers in the future. They already planned to be a mother. And second, by what reason do you think that being a mother equals that in the future having more money equals being a mother? It's a statistic that poorer family have more children. So why as a mother would I decide to invest or spend my allowance, my money for to have a children, instead of maybe going to Las Vegas, doing some trips around the world. During the war, for example, poorer family needed more labor work, so they decided to have more children to help the family work, for example. And after that, they also said that they are pushing for they said that we call them extremists, but we didn't specify why. We simply said that for us, being if I decide that women are not obligated to have children, they are more welcome to not have children. In the future, they will probably decide that. I'm sorry, I forgot what I was saying. You. Anyways, they also said some things about our example. For example, we brought Samantha Cristoforetti, an important astronaut that they said is not common to. We brought an extraordinary example. But as we said, it's just an example, so everyone will know. We could have brought a lot of mother independent. Yes?
I think that the main problem was Rita Levi-Montalcini, which didn't have kids.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear anything.
Yeah. Okay, so I think the main problem with your two examples was the other one, being Rita Levi-Montalcini with 0 kids.
Yes, but Rita Levi-Montalcini helped a lot in not in her family, because she didn't have any children, but in her brother's family. He helped her, the mother of the other his brother's children's during to being another successful woman. Just now I don't remember the name of that woman. And as I was saying, Samantha Cristoforetti, that we brought as an example, was just an example. There are plenty of other mothers who are important, that were making a successful life. And maybe another reason is that being successful is not that common. So if I want to be a successful mother or a successful woman, it's not that easy either. So if I'm a mother that try to be successful, is as hard as I'm not a mother, simply a woman, as to be successful. So they are. We are not saying that if I am a mother, I have a better probability to become successful. We are saying that mothers can be as successful as women who decide to not have children. After that, I will recall some things that we talked in the past. For example, I'd like to explain another possibilities that is going to happen. In a future world where women are not having as much children as they are today, because they don't feel like being mothers, you said in your argumentations that the government would increase the help to them to have more children, because they would have less populations. That's what you said. But that's not always true, because maybe if a state is overpopulated and I wouldn't feel in the future to have an urge to have more populations, I wouldn't simply reconsider having politics that helps women having more children. Or Simply, I would simply say that some states will decide to simply not help the mothers because they will have more wealth in their hands in the less populations. And that's all.
Thank you, Emilia. Your speech was of 7 minutes and 46 seconds. Now it's time for rebuttals, and we will start from team opposition.
We finally come to the end of this beautiful debate and this enriching exchange, and we thank team from Liceo Cavour for tonight's debate. But we have to crown a winner, and I think we are the winners of today's debate. I highlighted two main point of clash. The first is a contrast between the concepts of a mother and a woman in the two teams, and the second is how society will perceive this new ideology in the feminist movement. So what we've said in the first what about the first point of clash? So the contrast in their idea is that in today's society, a woman can't be a mother without being suffering by social pressure, and this is partly true, but this is not going to be solved by the new ideology. Why? We told you in all our arguments, but I will say it again, because when they say, because when this new ideology is going to be created in the feminism, some women will follow it, okay, and so and others won't, and all the women that follow this new ideology will identify the women who don't as not real feminists, as not real members of the movement, and so less women, and all these women that are not going to follow the movement most probably are going to be the new mothers of tomorrow. And so we think, but on our part of the house, on the other hand, we saw how things will be solved as the problem is not going to rise, as the feminism movement will develop as it's developing at the moment in the status quo. The second point of clash is how society will perceive this. As we said before, this is going to damage women because the two images of the women will start spreading throughout will enter in mind of the individuals in modern society. For example, we told you that. Sorry. So we told you that on our part of the house, on their part of the house, the government is going to move to make sure that all these new women that stop giving birth will start again to procreate. But this is not going to happen, and it won't benefit women in the job sector. In fact, we don't see any link between the two things. On our part of the house, however, we told you that that women won't be judged for choosing to be a mother, and so we believe we won this debate. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Nicola, and thank you, Team Opposition. This speech was of 3 minutes and 55 seconds. Okay, now it's time for the last speech of this debate from Team Proposition.
Okay, so here we go. Okay. What a rich and great debate tonight. We thank Op Team for the brilliant exchange of ideas. However, unfortunately for the Op Team, we clearly won. Because, well, I identified two great big reasons why we won. The first is the first reason is because we listened and elaborated the status quo. We wish women are equal, but they are not, and we clearly respected the status quo and used it as our advantage. We used the status quo to help our cause and solve the problems we have now by identifying also the positive consequences our the positive consequences our arguments will lead, and also because we talked about a future world and more in detail a possible solution. We tried to exchange idea with Op Team, but we didn't we weren't in harmony because they didn't listen to our solution. However, they didn't propose anything. So unfortunately, this is one of the main reasons we won, because we offered something to our world to be better. Then there was also the misunderstanding of words and definitions, because feminism was defined extremist without a definition. We didn't define feminism extreme, and also we cleared that feminism was born to fight a patriarchal society. So we also proposed that leaving things like this, as Op Team said, where we will the patriarchal society will be present. We proposed a way to fight it, thanks to feminism. And then we talked about choices, to choose between A and B. No, we didn't talk about labeling women as mothers or workers. No, we want that women can have a various possibility beyond them. So we don't want to make them choose between being a mother and a worker. So I thank everybody for listening to me and this debate. Thank you. I end my speech.
Thank you, Anna. The speech was of 3 minutes and 52 seconds. Okay, so thank you all for this debate. Congrats. Now I will stop the recording.